and it is both negative and positive sides. Sometimes some people take their negative feeling into their hearts or inside themselves, and they behave well with others. Sometimes it when it take the form of inequality and discrimination, it is worst. The results are worst. And
Okay, very good.
there is another heading which is called stereotypes, which is a perception of a person without scientific without scientific facts, that a person is thinking about others, making assumptions about others. And
Very good.
uh, again, assimilation is a process when a culture adopts the dominant culture's traits and cultural norms. Like, as I can say that people of India are adopting the culture and the traits of Western culture. They are
Very good.
adopting their um,
Why they are doing that?
because it has influence on their society. They are feeling that their society is inferior than that society. There is accentricism, the term which we used in
You
previous
know,
lectures.
I know, and I know that you understand many things, but I feel that you are little bit confused. Who is ethnocentric now? The people who are assimilating, or the people who are whom you know the people who are assimilating? Why they are assimilating? They are assimilating themselves. Maybe they are forced to assimilate, and in this case, those who force them to assimilate are the ones who are ethnocentric.
Okay.
You get my point?
Yes,
So,
professor.
let's say that you live in Canada now, in a place that has people not from your original culture. Maybe they are all whites around you, and maybe they are racists, maybe they are ethnocentric, maybe they don't accept your personality, your culture, your ethnicity. They if they will only accept you if you copy them, if you try to behave exactly like them, even if you are not convinced. Okay, you
Okay,
get my
professor.
point?
Yes, professor.
Okay. So in this case, they are ethnocentric because they are forcing you to assimilate, right?
Yes, professor.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you very much. Yajan, Yajan, how are you doing?
I'm good, Professor.
Great, great, Yajan. Yajan, please can you explain to us what you understood from the video in few sentences?
Professor,
You were not able to watch it.
what, Professor?
Were you able to watch the video that I posted or not?
Yes, Professor, I did watch the video that you
Okay.
posted. Uh,
Okay.
it was about the race uh, and their authenticity.
Ethnicity.
Yeah,
Ethnicity comes from an ethnic group. We have
ethnicity. Yeah,
we have used this word many times actually.
yeah.
Okay. So what you understood from this video? Were you able to watch all of it?
No, Professor, not all of it. I guess I left. I guess 7 or
Okay.
8 minutes ago.
Okay. Tell us about the part that you were able to watch. Hmm. Just what you understood.
Professor, the thing I understood the most was that racism is not, from within ourselves. We are not born with, uh, anyone is not born with doing racism. It's in the family we grew up in, and
Hmm. Okay.
uh, everything happens, later in life. As we are as a child, we are,
Okay,
it's hard to
okay, no,
explain
no problem,
actually.
no problem. You will have more
Yeah.
time to watch it again and explain it again. Alan has a comment to say.
Hello, Professor. How are you? Sorry for being late today.
Hi, Alan, no
Uh,
problem.
I was able to watch just the introduction of the video on Orientalism. That was the one that we were supposed to see. I'm not
I'm
sure.
not talking about Orientalism. Orientalism is a
Okay.
very different video. But the
Oops.
video that I posted, no problem. You are also required to watch Orientalism, but that was not for the first hour of the class today.
Ah, okay. Sorry, because I came in
Okay,
late, so I didn't know which
so
one.
Orientalism is a different video by Edward Said, who is a great professor, whom we will discuss later on.
But I, I
Okay.
have a, I had a question on the comment that was done before on the other question that you made, and it was you were talking about being ethnocentrism and how ethnocentrism forces a social group to become like them. But when that social group becomes like the ethnocentric group that is oppressing the other group, so to speak, would that other part be xenocentrism? Does
Uh,
ethnocentrism feed on xenocentrism?
thank you very much because you are talking about xenocentrism. Xenocentrism
Xenocentrism, yes.
begins with an X,
Yes.
okay, but it is pronounced as a Z. And thank you very much because you are talking about that because many students were confused about it in the exam, okay? So let me explain xenocentrism again. What you are we're talking now is totally is totally correct. Just a minute. Okay. What you're saying now is totally correct. However, uh, just a minute because I opened the video from my phone as well. I opened not the video, but I opened the class from my phone as well. So I want to disable the voice from my phone. Okay. So xenocentrism happens when you feel that your own culture is inferior and the culture of somebody else is superior, and therefore you might try to assimilate with the culture that you think that it is superior. Okay, let's say that you immigrated to another country, or you are even living in your own country. Okay, but it happens more when you immigrate to another country. Okay, so let's say that when you immigrated, you felt this feeling that those people whom you have immigrated to, they have a better civilization, they are more developed, they are more advanced, they have a greater culture. Okay, and you feel that you are culturally defeated, you feel that you are inferior to others, therefore you try to abandon your own original culture and you try to just copy what they are doing and be like them. Maybe you get accepted by them. Okay, so this is called xenocentrism. Xeno, it doesn't begin with a Z, it begins with an X, but pronounced as a Z. Okay, some students were not aware of xenocentrism. They didn't have enough information about it in the exam, although we have explained it in class. Okay, now Arman Preet has something to say. I'm sorry, Alan. Arman Preet. Arman Preet. Arman Preet. Arman Preet, you had a question. You even raised your hand. Your hand is still raised up.
No, no, I don't have any question. Like I raised my hand because to explain the video.
Okay, okay. So anyway, just because of the remaining time, I want to use
Mhm.
it. So I'm going to explain this PowerPoint, and I want you please, to go to the video again after the class if you didn't do that yet, and comment on the video. Okay. I want you to, in one paragraph, to explain what you understood. If you don't remember, watch the video again, please.
Sorry,
Maria
Professor.
Navarrete.
Sorry.
Maria, you have a question. Maria.
I do have I have a question about the video.
Yes.
It's it's not clear to me. For example, I know what a minority is. I know that it's a group that are in disadvantage because of their culture or their ethnicity. Sorry.
Yes, very good,
Um,
right.
can you include, because sometimes I watch on the news or read on the newspapers or something like that. For example, say homosexual people or transgender people, they're considered a minority because, and they're in disadvantage. Say in some countries they're killed or persecuted.
Yes, but they
Um,
are not, yes, right, but they are not a racial minority. They are a
okay, so
gender minority.
okay, so they're not included
A
in that group,
minority
right?
can be a racial minority, can be a religious
Okay,
minority, can be a gender minority, can be any kind, can be an age group that is disadvantaged in the society. Some
okay,
societies don't give enough respect and good status to old people, for example. Okay, so
okay, perfect.
so when we talk about inequality, inequality can be according to the group we are talking about, according to the kind of categorization we are talking
Okay,
about. So the video
I
was
thought it
talking,
was included.
no, the video was talking about race and ethnicity, but there are other
Okay.
kinds of inequalities as well.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria. A very good comment. Alan, you have another comment, right?
Yes, it's just
Yes, of
about the
course.
video. The
Yeah.
video, it's Racism a History. That's the one that you were talking about because it's unavailable
No,
to me in
if
the
go
Moodle.
go to the Moodle, please. Go to the
Yes.
Moodle and go to our WhatsApp organization. I have posted our WhatsApp group, and I have posted a link of the video in the WhatsApp group. And you
Oh,
also have a link of the video on the top of the Moodle under the category which is called week 5 to 6.
yes.
You will find this PowerPoint that is in front of you now. Okay, and you will find underneath it a link to the video called Race as a Social Construct.
Okay. Race as a so. Okay. Ah, okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Professor. Thank you because I didn't know
No,
how to
no
access the
problem
video.
at all. So those ones who were unable to watch the video during the class, before the class time, okay, actually it was during the class time. I made it from 9 to 10, the watching and the commenting. Please do that after the class, okay? And
Where should we
yes,
comment? In the same YouTube
under the
account?
video, on the video itself, because
Yes,
I
in the
don't
YouTube
want
account.
your comment on the video to be confused with other comments I want you to do on the Moodle.
Okay.
Okay, there are other things that we need to comment on the Moodle, so we don't want any confusion between this and that. Okay,
Excellent. Thank you, Professor.
thank you very much. Okay, are you paying attention, everybody? We have 27 students only in class. We have 8 students absent. Why is that? That is really not good at all. Okay, before I start explaining this PowerPoint presentation that is in front of you now, please remember to go to the section in the Moodle which is called week 5 to 6. It is about race, ethnicity, and gender. Okay, and read everything in this section okay, the instructions. There are some instructions over there. Like I don't. When you read that first, and then ask me questions after the class, after we finish the class today. Okay. So now we have a PowerPoint presentation called Race and Racism. Race and racism. First of all, what is race? We all know that people look different. Okay, anyone can differentiate between the physical appearance between people who came from Europe, people who came from China, whatever. But does that mean that people are actually biologically divided into various distinct races? Scientifically, this is not a reality, because the fact that you have let's say President Obama, for example. All of you know President Obama, right? What is his color? What is his
Black.
color?
Black.
Okay.
Black.
What was the color of his mother, if you know?
White.
White.
White. She was white. All of his mother's family was white. Okay. Who raised him up? His father or mother? If you read about him.
Father.
I think the mother.
No. His
He
father
was raised in Asia.
his father didn't raise him up at all, but he just abandoned him during his very early childhood or after he was born, and he was only raised up by his mother and her family. Okay, so he was raised up in an Afro-American community or in a white American community?
White community.
Okay, so the fact that that he inherited the color from his father, does that mean anything at all? So the color here doesn't make any difference. Okay, so the fact that you look now, that you look the color of your skin now is not a proof of who are your ancestors. Your ancestors, maybe they were, maybe you are a result of ancestors who intermarried across ethnicities, across races, across cultures, okay? But just God shows that you inherited a particular color of somebody from those ancestors, not color of somebody else. Do you get my point? Okay, so
Yes,
people
Professor.
have been intermarrying throughout history, and don't forget that like a century ago there were no borders between countries. Okay, people have spent centuries and centuries moving freely from one geographical place to another, and immigrating as they wish, trading as they wish, intermarrying as they wish. Okay, yes, nowadays we have better transportation, but in the past, yes, there was they didn't have that good transportation that we have nowadays, but they had something else. They didn't have passports and borders and visas, so people were just moving freely. People were immigrating freely. In most of the cases, I'm not saying in 100% of the cases, but in most of the cases, people were immigrating freely. Okay, so when they were immigrating, they were intermarrying. Okay, so throughout the thousands of years, people across races, or what is called races, okay, have been intermarrying, and therefore there are no actual real biological races. Okay, the fact that we have inherited a particular color or shape of the eyes or a kind of hair or whatever, that scientifically doesn't mean anything at all. Okay, but who invented this differentiation? It is the societies. The societies, because they wanted to they wanted to convince themselves of inequality, so they have invented those differences between social groups. Okay, sometimes this invention was on the basis of gender, sometimes was on the basis of race, sometimes was on the basis of age, sometimes on the basis of whatever. They were only attempts to justify inequalities. Okay, you understand me? Okay. The biological basis of race, distinct divisions of human species into groups based on physical characteristics such as color, eye and nose shape, hair texture. What did we say about that? We said that you could have inherited the skin color of your seventh grandparent. Okay? And maybe your parents from a different skin color, or grandparents from a different skin color, and the same for any other physical appearance. So that doesn't mean anything at all, and that doesn't reflect anything about your personality or about your intelligence. Okay. Okay. So human societies, for the sake of this justification of inequalities, have constructed those races that you see in front of you on the screen now: English, French, Jews, Gypsies, Italians, Algerians, whatever. Okay, but in fact, maybe all of those have intermarried from each other. Nobody has a real pure race. We can never prove that, right? Okay. Again, what race is this man? Some people might say he is from Jonathan. What do you think his race is?
He seems to be Afro-American, but he also looks like Philippine, like Asian, because his eyes.
Okay. Alan, what do you think?
Human.
Exactly, human. Very good answer. I like the answer very much. Human. Okay. Sometimes when you do applications for universities, for jobs, for whatever, they ask you about your race, and one of the options is mixed race. Actually, most humans, if not all humans, are mixed races, and they are just a human race. Okay. Paternal grandparents, you see, paternal grandparents, white, Native Americans, black. Maternal grandparents, maybe Chinese or Thai. Okay, so I don't want to keep on saying the same point again and again. Intermarrying has been a human tradition throughout thousands of years, and only recently, when people became stuck inside the man-made borders, they stopped or they slowed down the interaction with other societies. Okay. I will just go to the important slides. The problems of race as biological. Those who consider that race is something biological, okay, what are the problems with this claim, with this assumption? which this assumption that social science doesn't acknowledge. Yajan, you have a question. Yajan.
No, Professor. I just raised my hand on
Oh,
the Tiger Woods
oh,
photo.
okay.
Yeah.
So very few genes determine the racial appearance. Okay, Yajan, can you read the rest of this slide, please?
Yes, Professor. I can read the
Yeah.
slide. Should I read
Okay.
it?
Yes, and if your camera is on, that would be great.
Professor, my
No
laptop
problem, no
doesn't
problem.
support.
Just read.
The problems of race as biological. Very few genes determine racial appearances. Air for types and skin color shade into each other. There is no line in nature between a white and a black race or Asian race. Simplistic racial characteristics based merely upon a few traits hardly constitute a scientific approach to human biological variability.
Variability.
While there is a plenty of genetic variation in humans, most of the variation is individual variation, while between population variation exists, it is minimal.
Okay. So to sum up all of that, that is only repeating what I have already explained, that by science, we cannot prove that people are different from each other. Okay? By science, humans are just one race. Okay? And those variations are so minimal. Okay? Very few genes determine racial appearance. Okay? Hair from types and skin color shade into each other. There is no line in nature. Even when you said Black American about Obama, for example, actually very few, the so-called black, very few are actually black. Okay, the real color that we see in front of us is brown. Okay, not black. Okay, and those whom we say whites, they are not actually whites. Again, there are different degrees. So this should not be a determinant of anything at all. Okay, but again, why societies have invented that in order to justify what? So Diego, what societies here are trying to justify, or they were trying to justify when they have constructed these concepts?
The
Diego?
last part of the question, please.
Yes, what societies were trying to justify when they constructed this kind of inequality between people. So societies were trying to, when they said that people are divided into different races according, okay? So when they were doing that, what they were trying to justify?
They were trying to justify the racial divisions that they made in order to I don't know the word in English, but
no problem. Say it even in your own language. I think say it then when you can translate.
well, it's to demonstrate their that they are superior.
Okay.
To undermine the people who are different from them, who have a different culture or different color skin, and they said that they worth less or that kind of stuff, just to justify their superiority.
Excellent. Very good answer. Thank you very much. Okay. But the actual variation, biological variation, is very minimal. Okay. Thank you very much. Really, I like it. Armanpreet, do you have a question?
No, Professor, I just wanna give answer to your question actually.
Okay, please.
As Diego said, like they just want to show that they are superior than the other group. That's true. The point that I think that that is what they want to show, that they just want to prove their point, or we can in other way we can say that they are just stuck on their mindset. They just want to prove it on any cost. Like
Okay, good,
they are
good.
like pride, like we are always right. That is why they are always distinguish people in different
Oh,
groups because of culture or looks.
okay, very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So there are no races in the biological sense of distinct divisions of races. Okay. Again, as Alan said, there is one race which is a human race. The physical traits chosen to define race are basically arbitrary and could be things such as red hair or ear or nose or shape. Terms like black, white, Asian, and Latino are social groups, not genetically. This sentence is so important. Okay, so when we say white, this is a social group, not a biological group. When we say Asian, Latino, or whatever, this is a social group, not a biological group. Okay, you get my point. So let's say that that now a woman, okay, from a village in Mexico, okay, married a white English man, okay, and then quickly divorced and took the child, and the child was raised up in the same village. Which culture will be implanted into the personality of this child? The English culture or the culture of this Mexican village?
The
Mexican
Mexican
village.
village.
Okay, you get the point. So it is a matter but maybe this child will not look like his mother at all and will only look like his dad. Will that affect his personality? Alan?
Well, it will, of course, at the first 5 years of his age or so, he will learn possibly the culture from his mother because he's living with his mother, and the mother will pass that knowledge. But nevertheless, then the second stage, he will be learning the culture that he's in.
Okay, good, very
But
good.
that won't
Okay, will
decide.
his color affect his personality?
No, not at all.
Okay, okay, very
Well,
good.
maybe depending on what in the culture that he is, if there's any social construct of racism or anything regarding that he might adopt.
Unless the people around him treat
Mhm.
him according to his color and give him the impression that he is different. But again, in this case, it will not be the color that is affecting his personality, but it will be the behavior of other people in the society that is affecting his personality.
Exactly.
Okay?
It's the interaction. It's a functionalist. It's
Exactly.
functionalism.
Okay, this is more related to another theory that is symbolic interactionism. This interaction between people and each other will affect his personality. Maybe that will be related to the color, but it will not be the color itself.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, race as a cultural construct I want, please, Ruchika to read this slide for us.
Yes, Professor.
And if you can explain what you understand when you read those points, explain. If you want to give examples, give examples.
Okay. Race as a
And if the
culture.
camera is on, that would be much better, but you are free.
Professor, actually, there's some problem with my camera. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Race as a cultural construct is categories defined and assigned significance by the society as like
Significance by the society. So the categories which are defined here, they are defined by whom? By the society. And assign significance when the society thinks or says that those people from this particular physical appearance are more hardworking, are lazy, are brave, are more powerful, are more intelligent. All of those are not facts, they are stereotypes. They are social assumptions that the society chose to believe. Okay? Continue.
an ever changing complex of meanings shaped by socio-political conflict.
Okay, very good. Who would like to comment on this sentence? How can those meanings of who is who and which group has which characteristics be shaped by the socio-political conflicts? Who would like to comment on that?
Can I say something?
Yeah, of course.
It's speaking a little bit of what Charles Marx says about the conflict theory. The powerful people use a prejudice and justify oppressing others just because of the power and the position in the society.
Okay, very good. Very good. Can you explain that again, please?
Sure. Is the conflict theory mostly and how powerful people use prejudice to justify oppressing other peoples by their power and their level on the society and how they can use the elements on the society to affect and make that prejudice.
What Jonathan is saying now is so important, and he's reminding us of the conflict theory. He's reminding us of the conflict theory in which Karl Marx and the other scholars who belong to the conflict theory were saying that if a powerful group is controlling the society, okay, they can use the agencies of socialization in order to brainwash the people in the society and convince them that only those who share their same characteristics, who share their same physical appearance, are more intelligent, are smarter, and therefore they are the ones who should have the power, and they are the ones who should rule. Okay, and the other ones are having less abilities, so they should be the labor. They should accept the unequal status in the society. Okay, and actually the conflict theory called that false consciousness. Did you ever hear this phrase before? False consciousness. Did you ever hear this terminology before? Who heard it? Who heard about false consciousness before? False consciousness. False consciousness is false awareness. Happens when you are socialized and convinced that you should accept the current situation, the status quo, even if it is unfair to you. Okay? That it is a kind of socialization that makes the people accept unfairness against them, accept a situation that is against their own interests. Okay? There is a very famous figure in Hollywood movies, okay, in the American media. I don't remember the name of the movie, okay, but the movie was about racism and about how the Afro-Americans were mistreated, okay, and in one of those movies there was a very famous figure. Maybe the figure is even more famous than the movie itself. That's why I remember his name. And if you Google the name, you will find many cartoons about this name. He was called Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom was a black slave, but he was suffering from what we were calling xenocentrism. He was very impressed by the white culture, and he was very biased against his own culture and against his own race. Okay? And he was convinced, and he had what we call now false consciousness, and he really felt that the whites should be the superior in the society and the blacks should be inferior. Okay? Do you understand that? So that's why they use his name now in order, for example, when you find somebody who is suffering from xenocentrism and who feels that his own group is inferior and the other group is superior, and that's why he tries to assimilate, and sometimes he is biased against his own group, okay, they call him Uncle Tom. You got it? This conversation also reminded me of a very good comment that Diego explained to us before in the class about the situation in Bolivia. Do you remember that, Diego?
Yes, Professor.
Okay. Do you remember when he explained to us how the socio-political conflict, okay, was responsible for creating some stereotypes among people about the different groups of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if my group is powerful, okay, and I want to maintain this power, and I don't want people from the other groups to compete with me, and I can control the agencies of socialization, I can control the media, I can control the education, I can use them in order to convince the public opinion, okay, that my group has a superior cultural traits, more advanced cultural traits, and therefore they are the ones who have the right to rule, while the other ones are less civilized, are savages, or whatever, and therefore they should not have the right to rule. They should only be ruled. Okay? Let's go to the next point, and I know that there are only that the class has finished in terms of time, okay? But we will continue this discussion in the next class, okay? So I can stop by this point. An ever-changing complex of meanings shaped by socio-political conflict. But we want to take the attendance now, please, and I want you to have a look at the Moodle. Okay, let's show you the Moodle, and then we'll take the attendance quickly. Or let's do the attendance first, because whoever wants to leave can leave, and then whoever has a question about what is written in the Moodle in the section that we are in now, that is called week 5 to 6, they can ask me at the end of the class, and I can clarify all what needs to be clarified. Thank you very much.